Hi, my name is Ashley Watt, and I wanted to tell you a little bit more about myself. So, to explain a little bit of who I am, I grew up on a farm in south central Kansas. You can tell down here, this is a picture from last year actually. We had a calf that needed to be brought back to my parents' house so they could feed it as a bucket calf, and sometimes you just make things work, so he rode up front with us. I don't live on the farm anymore, but I love to come back here as much as possible. I'm actually here now. Um, and just do just about anything outdoors. I enjoy running with my dog. I really enjoy gardening, hiking. I love traveling. I don't have any of my traveling pictures up here, but I've been to 4 different countries and I love to see different things across the United States. Something that very interesting that's happened in the last year. This middle picture is my sister and I. You may have seen a picture of this thing here because it actually made national news, which is still a little maybe flabbergasting to me that it did. We were kayaking in August down the Arkansas River and found that in a sandbar. And it is a 200 plus year old grizzly bear skull. So to find that in south central Kansas was pretty rare, and it is actually at the Sternberg Museum now, and they're doing some more tests on it. So hopefully we'll figure out a little bit more about it eventually. Professionally, I graduated from Winfield High School. I then attended Hutchinson Community College, and I ended up graduating with my undergraduate degree in agriculture education from K-State. In December, I actually finished my master's in instructional technology from Fort Hays, and I kind of rolled into this program. So I taught my first year, 9 years, at Oxford Junior Senior High School as their ag ed teacher, which along with ag ed, I was, being their FFA advisor comes hand in hand with that. I also coached track and cross country, and being a very small school, you end up doing a lot, wearing a lot of different hats. So I served on many different committees throughout my time there. This year, I actually switched my job, which I'm still learning. Is I'm the College and Career Readiness Director for Cheney Schools, and it has me working a lot with individual plans of study, work-based learning internships. I'm in charge of their online courseware, and there's just a lot of stuff. Oh, career and tech ed. There's just a lot of stuff that go into this position, and I'm kind of seeing now that I get to tailor it a little bit and be creative with it, which is pretty exciting. So, my goals professionally, I really enjoy, now that I'm further into this first year, I really enjoy working with students and finding their passion and helping them see what they could do post secondary, and I think that this position allows me to do that. So I really want to stay professionally and see and develop what kind of programs could happen. um, there's not a lot of places that have a position like this, so hopefully I can keep developing that. I also want to hopefully finish my admin endorsement. It wasn't something that I ever thought I wanted to do, but the more education I get and the more time I spend, the more I feel like I could benefit students. I even had a student, which of course he left my room and I was like, "Ooh, don't cry," but he was like, "You would be an awesome principal. You would benefit so many kids," and he just said it off the cuff and left, and I was like, so anyway. So what do I want to learn? Whoo! Has this changed from the as I sat back down I'd started typing responses to the question, and I made this whole presentation prior to what happened this week. So if you don't know, in Kansas, Tuesday, we got the notice that we cannot have our schools open with students in them for the rest of the year. So we have to find other ways to reach students. So I feel like we now have, just reading some of the content of how do we get people to kind of come out of this archaic development of how our schools are working into the new century. How do we benefit students in a different way? Like, we're having to figure that out now, and it's overwhelming. And I think I we're still kind of, I'm dumbfounded, honestly. But Monday we'll all get back together, and hopefully that will be we'll figure some stuff out. Which educators are such problem solvers, so I know it will happen. It's just kind of scary at this moment. So, what do I want to learn overall in this class? How to access and evaluate school initiatives. I put a question by redesign. We are all absolutely having to redesign at this very moment, but it's been a concept in Kansas over the last 4 or 5 years that is terrifying to some districts. Some districts have jumped in and found a way to redesign their schools, but how do we work with curriculum and redesign to meet the best or meet the most needs of our students? Um, and in hand with that, how do we find what's best for everyone? So I do say coming into this role that the school that I'm involved in now, like they've tried to tailor education as much as possible, but I question how much teacher buy-in that they have for that. So how do we communicate what's best for students? How do we get them and provide the teacher and stakeholder buy-in that we need? Um, I think something else that's really struggling, like we struggle with, is how do we provide true, adequate time to address resources? So here's an hour here or there on a professional development day to align your curriculum. Like that's not valuable time. We have to provide a structure to it, and we have to make sure that we have the people involved in it that we need. So just a real format of how do we look at curriculum and student needs, how do we assess them, involve the correct people, and then get teacher buy-in in the end. Um, and that kind of relates to this last question of how do we shift others' mindsets or try to. Um, I feel like right now I am at a school that 50-50 are like 50% of them are game to do whatever it is to meet student needs, and 50% of them are kind of stuck in the old way of doing things. And it's not that their way of doing it is bad. In fact, their classes are full of people, of students, but there are things that they could do to benefit their students that it's really a struggle for them to do or to change their mindset. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing, and it's interesting. I still feel like I'm a little tongue tied thinking of what the next 10 weeks of education are going to look like. So, anyway, I look forward to this class. I think it'll really benefit me, especially in this time of uncertainty. So, I look forward to working with all of you. Thanks.